So I really want to talk about Milan. And Jesse, I want to ask you first and foremost, were you surprised to see both Pulisic and Musa in the starting 11 in such a big game? I love that Stefano Pioli, the manager of Milan, is trusting our Americans in such a pivotal moment. And Pulisic delivered, and Musa was out there. I don't know if those guys really put their stamp on the game and all the intangibles, let's say, but a goal is a goal is a goal. So, Jesse, your thoughts on Milan and the group overall?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was in the stadium for 3 home Milan matches when I was covering things in San Siro with CBS. Yeah, I mean, in general, I think Musa used this tournament to really establish himself with the group. And I think that he's had a lot of really good performances. You go to Newcastle, it's not an easy place to play, right? St. James Park is, in my time in the Premier League, maybe besides Anfield, the hardest place to go, the stadium with the most energy. I thought that they played well. They kept themselves in the match. Obviously, they wind up getting the win. For me, Musa, his role in the team is to be a little bit mobile, to rotate sometimes a little bit wide, to get balls and build up. They do a lot of man marking in the midfield. I was at the match in Milan when they played Newcastle, and they really took Bruno out of the match by doing that. And sometimes I feel like they leave Christian so much to just wait on the wing for big switches of play or the ball to get out there to find him, that he doesn't always get to insert himself into the game in ways that he could be more dynamic, where he could be more dangerous, where he could be in the box more. So I just like it when I see Christian, when he's more active, when he's coming inside, when he's running behind, when he's getting on the ball, when he's pressing without the ball. So, in the end, they wind up qualifying for Europa League. That was clearly not their goal. And this was a fun group to watch as well throughout the entire time. But, in general, I think both performed admirably in Champions League, and now they'll have a chance in Europa League to see if they can push for the title.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And Chuck, I'm going to jump in really quick. AC Milan has never won the Europa League, and Rafael Leao came out after the game and said, we're going to try to win a competition that we've never won before. So at least they're looking at the silver linings of finishing third in their Champions League group stage. But yeah, I want to get your thoughts on Pulisic and Musa as well, Chuck.
Well, I would just say, to go off of what Jesse said, it feels like the tactic under Pioli, especially Christian, feels like you have to really be tactically disciplined with that position. And like Guardiola, if I'm telling you to play that wing position, you have to hold and keep that width and not come in, even though you want to, even though you feel like maybe you're not getting the necessary touches to get involved and make an impact. It feels like he is very concerned with sticking to that instruction. And sometimes that works out, and that's what the manager wants, and that's what you got to do, even though it feels unnatural, it doesn't feel right. But ultimately, I think Yunus Musa did a good job of just being a shuttler, keeping possession. Mm-hmm. He connected almost every single pass. You almost want him to take more risks, and I get in a Champions League match, it's super important just to be an option and to keep the ball moving, keep possession within the team, not so much breaking lines and running at the back lines and trying to create chances. Although I think we all know Musa can eventually get there, but it was a very solid match from Yunus Musa. And in terms of Christian Pulisic, I'm with you, Jesse. You wanted more, but I get from his perspective, hey, I'm doing what the coach is asking me to do. I got the goal. I put myself on that position. Olivier Giroud made a great pass. But yes, we all feel like he could do more in this match.
Now, Jesse, I want to get your thoughts from a coaching perspective here with regard to what Chuck is saying, because there are moments, and all of us have coached at varying levels, not as high. Me and Chuck combined haven't coached at your level. I mean, come on, U10 rec team, it can only get you so far here as you're trying to get your coaching badges. But
and how many wins do you have with that team again, Jimmy? How many wins?
It's more about how we play, Jesse. Where I'm trying to the how right now.
Okay.
Listen,
all right. It's a process. It's a process. Stick to the process.
Got to trust it. So with regard, when I think about Christian Pulisic, if he's being asked to do certain things and to stay wide, even though he might want to get involved in different ways, if you were coaching and he made a play that kind of went outside of what you were asking him to do, and that play was successful, would you begrudge him for it? I mean, how would you handle that? That's one. And then second, this is a bigger question, but I want to give you the mic for a while because I like to talk and so does Chuck. What's Yunus Musa's best position? So Pulisic and then Yunus Musa. What do you got?
Yeah, listen, in general, the way I think about how to instruct the team tactically, you have to have a plan, you have to have roles, and you have to make it clear to all the players as to how all those roles fit in with each other. Okay, that's what tactics are in general. But one thing you don't want, for me, is have the tactics handcuff players. You still want tactics to empower players to go out, to play freely, to go after the game, and to be their best, and to play to their strengths. So, of course, any of us who have played for coaches, we know we have roles and we know what the tactics are. We know in our position what the expectations are. But there are also moments in the game where you feel something, or you see something, or you want to attack somewhere, or you want to go after the game and insert yourself. And that's kind of what I feel like with Christian a little bit. And I get it. But just like by sprinting more, by running more, by running in behind, by being more active, I think that's a way that you can always insert yourself into the game. Right. And often as attacking players, I feel like, when players are on the ball, a lot of times players off the ball will raise their hand or like show with their hands where they want the ball. And I always try to tell players, if you're ahead of the ball and a player's on the ball, the best way to catch their eye is to make dynamic movements, to make slashing runs. This is the way to catch your teammate's eye. And when you do it with the timing right, then you put yourself in dangerous positions and you make yourself an option. So, I'm not at training every day. I'm not at the video sessions. I don't know exactly what they're asking of Christian, but for me, for my taste, I just feel like he stands on the touchline too much and isn't able to get himself into the game. Now with Musa, yeah, I think. Do you guys want to respond to that, Charlie? You good with that?
No, I'm good. I'm just dialed in. I'm hearing Jimmy laughing in the back.
I'm just because I asked two loaded questions, and so it's just funny. Let's
go to Musa a little bit.
I'm taking notes. I want to be a coach one day, so I'm taking notes from what the coach is saying.
Good. Musa, I think, has a lot of flexibility to his game. I liked when he sometimes with the national team, he'll play against the ball where he's pressing a little bit, like a higher 8 or a 10, but then with the ball, he'll come back more into a 6 position. I like when he floats around, sometimes when he finds a little space out wide, getting him on the ball. I think he's clever on the ball. I think he's very clean and technically gifted, and he's a good passer. And I think I think he's best as an 8. And if you could still use him as an 8 that joins into the attack a little bit later, makes a few more runs in behind the back line, which they could then free up space for Christian Pulisic to maybe come underneath or come inside. And if they had a few more of these rotations, not just in buildup, but actually in the last third, I think that's a way that they could become more dynamic, more dangerous, and score more goals.